Jamthe, and this is Sudha Live. And I'm here on a Friday evening, joining you from Silicon Valley. And thank you for everybody who stayed in and hung around with me because on LinkedIn, I see the number of people who are here. Okay, I have to mute myself somewhere else, somewhere. Where is this voice coming from? Okay, I see it. Okay, so that's a test. Obviously, I'm live. So let me go back to my lovely Restream window. Okay. So this is my there's one more window. Oh my God. Guys. Oh my God. I have more windows. I had a lot of trouble with Restream and I was trying to test it out, guys. Okay. Thanks, Adil. Thank you so much for hanging around. I see you are here on live. Okay, guys, we are live, and you heard me several times from all my different windows. So it's just one me. And I've been talking to three of myself. So I will come back and talk to you now. So this is Sudha Live. And I usually do this at 6 o'clock my time. And I've been like banging my head on Restream, trying to talk to Zoom and connect to LinkedIn and everything else. So it's amazing because we're talking about AI opportunities, and the AI is all about the API economy. And here are several APIs which are supposed to talk to each other. And just let me talk to you. And I was running into incompatibilities, and I don't know why. Um, so what we are here at this hour is to talk about AI opportunities. So we'll talk about jobs, what's the latest that's brewing in this AI space. And I just want to make sure that Adil, if you're here, can you hear me right? All right. Can you hear me all right? I just want to make sure that, you know, there is no issue and everybody's able to hear me. Um, and if you're here, I see some new faces. I don't know you. So if you are new, or at least you're live watching me, engage with me, say something. I would love to keep this interactive because I've been talking to myself for a while, trying to fix this. So I appreciate you hanging around and waiting. So I'm going to get out of YouTube because I see the window there. That was one of the talking windows, but at least I'm live. Um, okay, so let me close that window. So what are we talking about? What is this whole thing about AI? Why is it that I should come and talk to you every week? There's a lot of hype about generative AI. And so one of the things I usually like to start my session here is with a lovely share. Let me go see if I can share that window of people that I want to congratulate. And so let me start. So here who we are seeing is Jeremiah Owang. He took my Stanford class at on AI, but Jeremiah has been an amazing personality and a futurist and tracking AI ecosystems and the web ecosystems and all the trends for many years. I know him at least for a decade, and he happened to take my Stanford class. So he's on my radar, and I thought I should congratulate him because this week he's actually joined as a senior partner at Blitzscaling Ventures. And one of the things, so I would recommend, join me in congratulating Jeremiah, and also, follow him because he runs these huge events called Llama Lounge here in Silicon Valley. He also did this Thai event on TED event on AI, and he's very good at bringing huge crowds and drive conversations, and so he has a pulse on the market. So he's somebody that I would watch and keep an eye on and see what he's up to, because that's something that he's good at. The other person I want to congratulate is a dear friend of mine from my eBay past. Let me show you the windows. Hopefully, that's where I'm going. Let me see. Okay. 1 second. Yes. Mike Berry. Congratulations, Mike. Mike is an amazing, amazing person I worked with in my past at eBay. And Mike is starting a new position as Senior Director, Business Capability Design and Delivery. And he's going to report to the CIO of Adobe. And I have no affiliation with Adobe, but Adobe has been doing some interesting things. And I had shared when the Adobe Chief Trust Officer was out talking to the US Congress. And then, of course, they have amazing generative AI in their products serving the creative ecosystem. Um, I'm very happy that Mike is joining them. And congratulations, Mike. And then, if you're looking at what is this business capability design and delivery, that was another thing that intrigued me. And so you should follow Mike. Mike was heading marketing operations when I worked with him in the past. And he's a true leader and a true collaborating kind of personality. And so, especially, this week, I've been talking to a lot of people from last couple weeks. I've been saying, right? I've been talking to a lot of people who are interested in generative AI, who are interested in the enterprise LLM, and how do we get to it. So, in the previous session, couple weeks back, we spoke about how do we take a business problem, where do we start, what is the starting point, how do we arrive at at what should we be building, how to map. So I have a framework where I said, look at generative AI capability, look at what business problem your customer has, what data you have access to, and then map it to create the product feature to create using generative AI. So generative AI does summarization and Q&A chatbots and gleaming out intelligence from any kind of data store or content that you give. These are all capabilities. Now, how do you bring that together? Use which of these makes sense to create a product? What should your product feature look like? So there's like a huge movement to go build chatbots. It's not a bad thing, intelligent chatbots which understand context because of ChatGPT and Bard. But is that what your customer wants? Is that something where you can generate ROI? So we've had some conversations about this, and this is not the last time I'm going to talk about this. We're going to come back to that in future. But I've been meeting with companies, leaders from companies, visiting EMBA groups. I've done my rounds visiting people in Italy and Spain. And the common conversation is we're trying generative AI, and should we be using old AI, traditional AI, and where do we start, or what models should we be using? How do we scale this to actually solve a business problem for our customers? And then the second, so before I forget, I have a student of mine. Let me go back um, and share that window. One second, I'm live. If anybody is talking to me on a chat while I'm on a live stream, it is going to pop up. If you're talking to me on a chat on LinkedIn, watch out, because I'm not going to be chatting to you. I'm chatting to the people who are on the live stream. So just for privacy sake, I don't want your information to pop up. So I just wanted to give a heads up to somebody who's trying to chat with me. Okay. So I was telling you there's a student of mine that I want to show you. Uh, Let me find that window. Um, there's amazing students. My students seem to be doing amazing things. So if I just like make a list of what my students are doing for the week, I'm done. I can keep talking to you for hours. Okay. So there is a student of mine from Barcelona Technology School who's graduated from the Big Data program. And I actually mentioned Onassis. Hold on, let me come back. That's the thing, because I'm streaming directly from Restream, I have to go back every time and share and get out again and again and again. It's super annoying, but I'm going to do that. Okay, so let me find the window. Where is it? Where is it? Okay. Here we go. I hope that's the one. Okay. So RSLT is the name of the agency. And this is an agency from four of my big data and AI graduates from Barcelona Technology School. And I hope you're able to see this. This is an Onassis, and he's the same person who was teaching a group of kids AI in Bahamas, and I shared that earlier. And so he's the chief marketing officer. And these are my other students who have come together, and they are providing consulting services for helping companies make sense of data and AI, and they are busy building chatbots. So congratulations. And if you're in Barcelona, so I think that is a group that I would obviously recommend that you follow up. The other thing is, I had gone to Spain recently in last month, and I ended up visiting with Elisawa school. I'm going to show you that window. Hold on. I'm very big on showing the window because if you see that visually, I'm a very visual person, so when I see something visually, it sticks instead of just hearing the word. I don't know if you're like that, but if you are, maybe you'll benefit. Okay, so here is Elisava Barcelona School of Design and Engineering. And in the School of Design and Engineering, we've created a program for human centric design and artificial intelligence as a master's program. And I've shared a little bit about it. And the reason I'm actually talking about it now is because I have an open rec for a teaching assistant who should be based in Barcelona, be able to go to Elisava School while I teach remotely. So I met with the students in person and I did my first session, and I will be going back at some frequency. But while I'm teaching there, I want a TA present in there. And it's a small group, and we are looking at these designers who are going to come with world changing ideas and guide them through the process. So, my subject that I'm focused on is AI, artificial intelligence, obviously, and helping them build out prototypes, learning the technology, the frameworks to make that happen, like I always teach you guys, is what we're going to do. And the students are learning a lot of other cognitive science and design thinking and all those other things also. But the TA is somebody who should know AI, work with me remotely, be comfortable to communicate and interact with the students locally. This is a paid role. So if you are in Barcelona and you know AI, you're excited about AI, you want to be in this part of this world changing group, and the classes are in the evening, so even if you're working somewhere, it's not a bad thing that you can come and teach in the evening. That's it. So talk to me. I can give you a full rec if you want to follow up. But especially if you are one of my students from Barcelona, from Barcelona Technology School, one of the alums, I would like any referral from you and anybody who's out there. If this is a fit for you, I would love to, get you involved. The thing is, you're not going to be teaching. You're going to be helping my students who are there in their project, and I'm going to be teaching the actual, the tools, the technologies, the framework, everything that's needed. So you don't need to kind of, know these things already. You can sit through my class and then kind of learn, because the newest you might have learned AI space keeps shifting, and you might feel like, oh, I don't know the latest, it doesn't matter. That's the thing that I say to all of my students. But I would like you to come with some fundamental knowledge of AI and excitement for AI. And this is AI and UX, or human centric design. It's not just limited to UX design, it is design. So they could be designing a building or designing some engineering bridge or something like that. But the thinking is that they will use AI in some form to solve a real big problem, to kind of revolutionize something in their space, is what we are going for. It's a 1 year program. So talk to me via LinkedIn, or and add to the chat, or tag a friend who might be interested while we are doing this. I'm happy to follow up. Okay. And timing wise, beginning of the year is where I think I would start this person right after Christmas, but I would like to get the hiring going. Okay, so thank you for that, guys. So I told you about Elisawa. So this week, one of the things that I ended up doing was I met with a visiting group of EMBA students from DTU from Copenhagen, and I had such a fun discussion because this was about generative AI and AI. What does it mean? How does it go? What I always do is to go into the brains of it and talk about the models and the applications and your role. Technology industry versus enterprise customers. These were all enterprise business leaders. So we had the same conversation, but we had such a fun discussion because it was one of those very interactive groups. And so I love this. And then at the end of it, and hopefully some of you who are joining from there got to know about my recording and are here, so hello. And what I left with was the same set of questions about enterprise. What's the starting point, and how is this going to settle down? The ecosystem is shifting. The technology architecture for generative AI is shifting. And there are a set of companies who are giving these closed platforms. And is our data safe with them? Is enterprise would never, never, never put the data outside of their network because this is customer data. They have liability. There are privacy issues, competitive information, and all that stuff. So, what do we do? What is our starting point? How do we get started? So, the first part is you want to do something, you want to know what do you want to do? What is your business problem? What is the data that you have? Is your data actually, organized and clean in a single source of truth format in somewhere? Uh, is that like that's all AI readiness, right? Last week I showed you some tool to go figure out the AI readiness. The same Sudha Live, I did this last week, and I did that. So if you follow my Jamthe newsletter, bit.ly/Jamthe newsletter, um, you will see that. You will see all the links. So it is there. And I believe if you are following my YouTube, all this is archived there also. I think it's Sudha Live playlist is the bit.ly for that. But if you go to my YouTube, you will see this live also archived there. So if the AI readiness, that's the first part, starting with what is the customer, and then we can magically map it to arrive at what you want to build. There's a second part. But then how do you map this business use case to technology? How do you make a build or buy decision? Maybe a vendor is kind of knocking your door and tempting you with some amazing options to build, and what APIs does it finally come down to, and how is the ecosystem going to settle down? So there's a lot of the way I've been talking about this is there's a lot of open source options, and there are closed platform options. And if you are going, and typically enterprise would pick one or two closed platforms, even if they went with closed platforms. Right now we are at a stage where we don't have hundreds of options. We do have hundreds of options, it's not very obvious. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm focused on in the next weekly Wednesdays. So weekly Wednesdays are global speaker series. For those of you who just follow me here, that happens morning my time. So it might be it's evening in Europe and evening in Africa, night in India, that kind of thing. But if you're from Asia, you might miss out because it's very late for you. Again, that is also streamed here, and the archive is sitting on my YouTube. We have a speaker series, and periodically we do webinars. So last week we had Elisa Torres Durney come in and do a session on quantum computing. We had some audio issues on her end, so we got only some of it. So Pariya Sarin is editing that out, and at the Jamthe newsletter, she's going to give you a clean version so you don't have to see the choppy audio and back. And Elisa is an 18-year-old who started, she's one of the top voices for quantum computing on LinkedIn, and has started Girls in Quantum Computing and teaches. She's 18 and she's been doing this for 2 years. So, but she's amazing. She's very knowledgeable. I asked her a lot of questions on what's qubit and stuff. So this recording will be amazing. So if you tuned in and you came and watched it and the audio looks choppy, apologies. We'll give you a clean version. Pariya is working on it. That should be in our newsletter that goes out on Monday. bit.ly/Jamthe newsletter. And so the weekly Wednesdays where we do the speaker series. So I'm going to come back. I periodically come and I would do a webinar or like some kind of quiz interactive session on a topic while you're learning a bunch of things. So I'm going to be coming back on Wednesday. And because everybody wants to know, okay, how do we do the model selection? Is it open source? What is out there? And how do we build something, right? So one of the things I've been working towards is I want to build something hands-on then I'm much more informed to talk to you of what is good, what is bad, instead of just having an opinion for the sake of opinion, right? And so model selection, open source versus closed platform, and building a chatbot. What are your options is what I'm going to work on. And then what I'm trying to do is truly, I've been saying this for a couple times, a couple rounds in wherever you're meeting me, is I want to take my book, The Generative AI, A Primer for Product and Business Managers. That's on Amazon. It's a Kindle book. Somebody asked me, do we need a Kindle reader? You don't need to buy a Kindle device. You need to download a Kindle reader as an app on your iPhone, Android, mobile, Mac, PC, anywhere, doesn't matter. But you just need the app. And it's a free app and you can read it, right? For any Kindle books. So mine is a Kindle book because it's on Amazon. And the thinking is, you could have got the book. That's great. If you have the book, then I would love your feedback. But what I'm going towards is to take the book content, put it on a AI platform of some kind, build an interactive chatbot so you can learn generative AI. You can say, what is generative AI? What are the different models? Tell me what is hallucination, explain these terms. What are the social implications? What are the business applications? What are tokens? How do you understand the cost? What are ethical implications? Give me research papers. Everything you can think of at a fundamental level to understand generative AI is there. And I want to give it to you in a chatbot form. So I have been playing with gpt.h2o.ai. Last week I showed you how it looks at my resume and what it understands. So in a couple minutes, I'm going to show you my book in there. I'm going to do this live with you, upload my book and see what it understands, how it's going to talk to me. I've done this a version of this with LangChain, and I felt like it was not as private as I thought because it was built on top of ChatGPT. So it brought all the hallucinations of ChatGPT in there. So I'm going to do that. But on Weekly Wednesday, I'm going to teach you what are the models, what's the landscape of models out there, what is open source, what is not, and how to make sense of it to go towards building a chatbot. You could build a lot of different things. You could do knowledge extraction, text summarizations, machine translation, whatnot. But the Q&A chatbot is what everybody seems to be going for because it has that, something that is human centered that you can bring. But what I want to do is, what I'm going to show you is just feed a book, PDF, and see what the AI can extract and chat across multiple models. But what I want to truly build is what I've been teaching you guys is to think about this in a very human centered design perspective, right? You don't say, I have a book, I have a content, build a chatbot, right? A chatbot is just chatting. What is the customer problem I should be solving for? This is the content, and I can extend this. I just don't want to just put my book and just sit chat to the book, which I'm going to give it to you. But all this content that we are chatting here, all the content that we have on my Weekly Wednesday from various different speakers, we have tons of content. I have this for 5 years or so every week. And so I would like to take the transcript of that and see if I can give you something as a knowledge tool. So I'm seeing a lot of this already. Zoom has one that you can have a continuous chat. So for when you come to Weekly Wednesday, it has a continuous ongoing chat and you can chat with it. And I've turned that on. So that's an option. So if you are one of those people who comes to my Weekly Wednesday, you can chat with the Zoom chat AI assistant threaded across past Weekly Wednesdays. Try that. Let me know whether you like it. And other than that, um, LinkedIn Learning. I'm part of LinkedIn Learning instructor community because I have two courses on LinkedIn Learning, all on AI and no code AI. And LinkedIn Learning is a separate app from LinkedIn. And so check it out. Your company might have access already. And they have come up with a coaching app. So you can, query and say, should I learn next? Or it gives recommendations based on that. So what used to be recommendation engine like Amazon style and pop-ups and say, you do like this, you also like that. And people who like bought stuff that you're looking at also bought this other thing. That used to be the collaborative filtering or recommendation engines of the past. That's all been gobbled up into a chatbot interface. And so you're finding chatbots. Barcelona Technology School, I think, is building a chatbot also. No, I don't think. I know they are building a chatbot. out of all our lessons of many years, like a learning assistant. So it's almost like a TA who is a chatbot. You can query and ask questions. So there are very interesting chatbots that are cropping up. And so I want to do my part and bring the content that I've been giving to you in the form of so many videos, because it's humanly not possible for you to go back to all my videos and look at different things. And it's wonderful. I know students who keep coming back, or they ask me content and I say, what about this one? I was talking to Emmanuel the other day and said, you did a presentation on customer churn, where is it? And we went back and looked at it. So if somebody is looking at customer churn or interested in how to build out an machine learning model using customer churn, there is a video from my weekly Wednesday archive, done by Emanuele Bianchini, and it's there. But you have to look for that specific topics, right? But what if you had a chatbot and you say, how do I build machine learning models? How do I take a business problem and turn that into a translate into a problem statement? And you might find five different videos that we've discussed this, and experts talking about this, and doing demos and whatnot. And we can give you pointers. That's one kind of use case I'm thinking about. But I want you to talk to me if you've been part of my community, if, any of these years you have done this, or you're one of my students, or you're just learning AI. Because I've done a lot on AI, data value creation from data, autonomous vehicles, IoT. And we've had speakers come in and talk about their expertise, best practice, and how they build. We've had products and demos, and we've tried to be very agnostic to one big company of any kind. And we've kept it very global, so it's not just US centric. So talk to me. I'm going to build this, and I would love for you to participate and do this with me. Okay. And one of the things I keep saying about this open source thing, because there is a discussion brewing. So there was this AI security conference that happened in UK, and then there is a AI executive order that came out of US. Maybe it's interesting timing. They collaborated. There's a lot of scare going around about AI, and to have some regulation, and a lot of big tech companies who are the ones, right? A bunch of big tech companies who are coming up with the AI models for generative AI, who are saying, yes, yes, we want to be regulated. And so there is a movement of creating regulation and saying the government should regulate us, and here are the standards, and then who's going to set the standards? So there's been some confusion about that. And so let me share what Professor Andrew Nigg had shared, because he does a fantastic job and I admire him for his work and his commitment to teach people. He has a scary picture here. So this was about 3 days back. Professor Andronic said, my greatest fear for the future of AI is if overhyped risks such as a human extinction lets the tech lobbies get enacted, stifling regulations that suppresses open source and crush innovation. So the idea is we do not want regulation to come in and suppress open source. It's not just the innovation can happen at a grassroots level, and there's tons of open source stuff that's happening. So he done a post on that. And then professor came back next day, I think, let me see, and gave us a nice resource to make sense of this. He said, is this what is involved in this regulation? Is it really good or bad for open source? What is he talking about? And so he brought in saying Bill Gurley has a great talk on regulatory capture, and the terminology is regulatory capture, and how it's crushed competition and innovation in many industries. And so it is, regulation is influenced such that market entry. Why would a big company want to ask for regulation? Because then they want to grow and they want to stifle competition, right? And so then they get some kind of protection. So how do you think about this in the AI industry? This is about what Professor Andrew Neg has shared about in um, from a talk from Bill Gurley in other industries. So I thought that was interesting. So as part of my as part of my regular learning links that I share on the newsletter, I will be sharing this one, and look out for the newsletter from Pariya that will go out on Monday. So other than that, we have Women in AI Canada has a hackathon 2023. They're calling innovators. The deadline is coming up like urgently. I hope you're able to see the screen when I share the record. Like I share a screen, you're able to see it. I hope it's working. So this is from Frenzy Clement. Thank you, Frenzy. This, and they were working on this AI Women in AI Awards for 1.5 years and worked so hard and launched the whole thing. They're back in business and they're ready for their hackathon. It's commendable how much commitment and hours and brain work and heart they put in. So the registration deadline is coming up November 7th, and then you have time to actually submit the abstraction till November 24th. I think that's close to Thanksgiving for us. And then you come back, and then December 8th is the hackathon. But it's a very global thing, and this is from Canada, so it's not the same time, I think, Thanksgiving there. So and there's a lot of cash rewards, but they do a very good job of mentoring people. If you are coming up with ideas and want to do something and you're new to this, they have courses, they have coaches, they have mentors. It's just unbelievable the opportunities that they provide for people. So I hope you'll avail of that. I told you about Onassis. Oh, I know who the other person that you should not miss, and I want you to follow. And they have something amazing coming up. Is our own Tejumade. So Tejumade Afonja is currently in Germany, and she is from Nigeria, and she started the AI Saturdays Lagos. I was telling one of my students this week about how they have created a group. They will come together in Lagos, and they will all go and look at a video recording of a class that is publicly available, and they took the NLP class from Professor Fifi Lee in Stanford, and they all watched it together. They all sat and worked on the exercises together in the morning, and they would take a research paper and try to understand how to make sense of the research paper. What does that look like? And now she's a doctoral researcher at CISPA, and she's amazing. And she's not given up on her extra work because it's hell a lot of work. And this is the third month of this cohort 8. So they're calling it a free data science and machine learning lecture and lab series, and they run every Saturday. And the good thing is, I just found out that they're live streaming these two, so they're just not sitting and working. And Tejumade specifically is going to do a session this week, so she's posted about that. And if you are, this is hands-on work and machine learning, and she's talking about maximum likelihood estimation and naive base at the AI Saturday. So congratulations, and definitely follow Tejumade. She's such an inspiration. She has amazing research on voice and NLP to add diversity and unique topics from her research. Amazing force, cannot be ignored. So follow Tejumade, and if you miss it, you can always watch the live stream that they're doing from AI Saturdays. That I think is brilliant. That's brilliant. And then I saw one other discussion on this whole open source. Instead of saying this is good or bad, here was something that was posted by one of the co-founders of Hugging Face, and Hugging Face is this company which connects to all kinds of AI, API in the generative AI space, but they also have their own open source models for LLM. And then they shared a very beautiful story of how people came together across California, Europe, and China, and shared open data sets and built on each other's model to arrive at this Zephyr model. And it started out with Mistral, which is a model that is very good for French language. And so then they built on that. So this was the thing. And so they're talking about the frameworks they used and the people that came together. So it was kind of one of those inspiration that open source works, and there are these amazing people and resources. So I thought, let me go ask ChatGPT about open source. What open source models are out there, right? And so many people talk to ChatGPT, so why not? So I asked which LLM models are open source, and look at the answer. It does not give me a single open source model, and it says, as of my last knowledge update in Jan 2022, OpenAI has not released any open source version of GPT-3. And then it goes on to say, go search the internet and go look out for announcements from OpenAI if they are have one, or if they have launched any open source after that. As if the whole world is only OpenAI. ChatGPT is supposed to have been trained on the whole internet, isn't it? And Reddit forums and everything else. And so it was kind of very disappointing. So I'm going to give it a thumbs down. Okay. And and it says thank you for the feedback. At least it is courteous, so thank you for that. So then I said, no, I'm not going to stop at that. Let me go find Google, the next option of looking for OpenAI or open source models. So, which LLM models are open source? And an exciting thing is, I did not get this earlier, that Google has integrated generative AI, and so it gives me a generated source of this, and it says here are some open source. So this is equivalent to ChatGPT, but from Bard, and it's integrated into Google search. And I'm sure we had to give permission somewhere to use this. So here are some open source language models: LLM, Vicuna, Alpaca, and it gives me a big list. Uh, and then it also says other models, and it gives the most famous ones, right? Mistral, that I told you, the French one. Raj Red Pajama. I call it as Raj Pajama. It's Red Pajama. Red Pajama. Is it pajama? I need to wear my glasses, guys. It is Red Pajama. Okay, I don't need my glasses then. Okay, so Bird by Google, Bloom. Bloom is one that I have used and I've heard good things from people. There is the Bloom open source, and then there's the Bloom Z. So it's like a lot of them. And then I'm hearing a lot about Llama. This Llamas, the various different Llama models are from Facebook. So there's Llama 2 and all that stuff, right? Code Llama, Mistral is back. Giraffe, we've spoken about Giraffe before. So if all these look like jargon and it's intimidating, don't worry, because come to Weekly Wednesday. And if it doesn't make time zone sense, come watch the recording. I'm going to teach you what's the landscape of open source and non-open source models out there, how to make sense of them, how to compare them so that you can make an informed decision of what is right for you, for your company, for whatever products or company that you're building. And then we're going to go off and go build a chatbot, or at least get started with what my options are, because it might take longer. I'm not just going to give a dumb put something in a tool and give you a chatbot thing. I'm going to guide you so that you can build a chatbot for your enterprise. So that's what I'm going for. So before I close out, I told you I'm going to show you the book, how to build the chatbot thing that I'm doing on with my book. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to close the extra windows because they are distracting me. Okay. Yes, almost I'm done with everything else. So the last piece is I'm going to go to this H2O. Let me share my window back. H2O GPT, my new best friend. So gpt.h2o.ai. And this is where I did this last week, and I said, I shared my resume and it talked to us. So now I'm going to go talk to generative AI. I need my book. I need to find my book. Okay, generative AI. Oh, come on. Generative AI. Okay, generative AI, a primer for product and business managers. Here it is. I am uploading that file. Why is it not uploading it? What did it do? Oh, it is uploading it. Okay. Oh, it is uploading it. Okay, here. It's saying processing. Let's see. Meanwhile, let me tell you that this H2O has multiple models that it is going to compare against whatever we do. So these are 6 models. Remember this right now when we're looking at open source model, Vicuna was one of them. Hugging Face is another one. Zephyr, that's from a Hugging Face. GPT 3.5 Turbo is actually what powers ChatGPT. So I'm going to keep that in the running. Okay. So now it has uploaded my book. It says the newest doc, and it's got 631 chunks. And here we go. So what do you want to ask it? So I'm going to come to the LinkedIn window. Tell me what you want to hear. Any questions for the chat to talk from my book? And I'm just going to do only generative AI book. Yeah, it's a good idea. I could actually add all my books in there, right? Um, but we'll get there. So I am on the chat talking to you guys. Okay. Okay. Thank you. If you're live, you can ask me what to ask my book. So what I'm sharing here is um, I've read my book. The easiest, dumbest question I can ask is what is generative AI? Because this book is about generative AI, right? So since I lack imagination, I'm going to ask that as the first thing, right? I'm going to say, what is generative AI? Now it's going to go into my book, and there are four different models. So you see four windows, it's going to fetch that. And this is the GPT equivalent, right? GPT 3.5 Turbo is ChatGPT equivalent. According to the information provided in the context, generative AI's evolution of foundation models, a search by AI researchers to create a multimodal AI system. It's speaking so eloquently, right? And the new process called semi-supervised learning. And then this one is not as eloquent, and it says evolution to create multimodal systems to go beyond prediction from data to generate new possibilities. I actually like this. It also mentions generative AI as a capability of learning from vast unlabeled data and semi-supervised. Everybody likes the semi-supervised learning part, and this one is the most succinct one. It's evolution of foundation model, predicting data by extrapolating to generating new possibilities through multimodal AI systems. That's awesome. I did not know I wrote it this way, but that's you get the idea. So, can we ask what is hallucination? So, if you find any jargon and you say, I want to get an answer on that, you can ask my book and the chatbot will tell you the answer. So four of them, they're going to go chun 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 and get you the answer. And it says according to the information provided, no, this is that answer. Where is generative AI hallucination? I'm not seeing the answer for that. Oh, it's coming just now. Okay, it took its time. So hallucination in the context of NLP refers to the phenomena where AI models confidently provide incorrect or fake answers. They are not random errors, often semantically correct, meaning they seem to make sense. And then it compares with hallucination and NLP are different from classical classification errors, where the model, this is something I had in the book, so it's telling me that this is doing a similar thing. And it says to prevent hallucinations, it's important to use high quality relevant data during training. Okay. And in this one, this is the minimum stuff that's coming from the chat GPT equivalent. And it says according to information provided, refers to concept where AI confidently gives fake answers that do not exist in reality. Not much information. This is the shortest one. Is where AI confidently provides fake answers. AI has a narrow world of its training, tries to fit its answer. That doesn't justify hallucination. Which model is this one? This is the GPT, H2O GPT Llama 2. Llama 213B is actually apologizing for hallucination. So you get the idea. What else can we ask, guys? Let me come to the LinkedIn. If you have any questions, I'm watching only the LinkedIn. I'm not watching the YouTube. So if you have questions for me, you need to. Okay, how can we generate good accuracy with less data sets? Thank you for that, Adil Hussein. I will ask that. How can we generate good accuracy with less data sets? Okay, how can we generate, um, did you say better accuracy? Good accuracy. Okay, good accuracy with less data. This is an important question. Less data, because that is what they say as low resource languages. They don't have enough. I'm going to put that here. Hope you're all able to see the window. I'm sharing the gpt.h2o.ai window, and you can go try this on your own. If you have bought my book, I don't mind if you go put a copy in there, or I will work with you on Wednesday to go build a chatbot. I'm going to put my book so you can go chat with it also, right? So it's thinking. It's not given the answer yet. It's still showing me the old stuff. How can we generate good accuracy with less data? And I have spoken about low resource languages, and they don't have enough data, and it's still trying to figure out. Okay, so one of them has come back. The Hugging Face Zephyr one has come back. It says, according to the information provided in this context, which is the book, it says we can generate good accuracy with less data by fine tuning AI models on smaller task specific data sets. Fantastic. So it's possible. It's not just thinking about low resource languages. It's saying if you have an existing data set in your company, which brings us all the way back to our discussion about enterprise LLM, you might have less data, but it could be your customer service data, it could be production data, it could be anything, and you can do fine tuning with that. This ensures the model has good understanding of context and meaning. I'm surprised. I'm amazed. Just taking everything that I wrote in my book, but I'm amazed because I wrote this book and published this in April, and I thought I had to go back and update it. So a lot of it seems very relevant. So I'm very pleased with myself. At least the the chatbot is making me pleased with my own book. It says additionally regularization techniques like dropout or L1 L2 regularization can be used to prevent overfitting and to ensure the model is generalized. You can follow up and say what is dropout, what is L1, L2 regularization. You can get all your thing clarified. Constraint generation, such as conditioning the model on a prompt using sequence architecture. So it's giving all this. This is all the Zephyr model, right? The GPT one has like a big bullet list. Let's see. Okay, it's doing the same thing of whatever the other guy was doing or the other girl was doing, whatever model. Um, but it is listing it, saying fine tuning, regularization, robustness to perturbations. I don't think I use the word perturbations in my book. And constraint generation is the other thing. So it's giving all that. So I'm pleased. I'm pleased with myself. I hope you're happy. So the other thing you could do is adversarial training. Who's talking about that? So this one, right? The Llama 2 is basically saying fine tuning, regularization, constraint generation, and adversarial training can reduce the. So it's basically saying to reduce the hallucination here, but I was interested in getting accuracy. So part of the accuracy is that you get, you don't get much hallucinations, right? So that's what also was addressed in the Llama model. So that's it, guys. So I've shared a bunch of opportunities. We had a discussion about getting to a product from an idea for your solving a problem for a customer. uh, and then we spoke a lot about open source models and quizzed a bunch of AI search bots to get the answer for us. And ChatGPT failed us. I hope whoever is watching this will go fix this, because ChatGPT, one of the questions I had from one of the students was, is ChatGPT learning live? ChatGPT's underlying GPT 3 point 5 turbo model is what it's trained on. That model has not been changed. Subsequent models have been built by OpenAI, but ChatGPT is an application. So the foundation model from where it is learned has not changed, but they do fine tuning and they keep adding more content to fine tune ChatGPT. As you're chatting with ChatGPT, all that content is going to help train ChatGPT. And so they are keeping the constraint on its boundary where it will not say anything controversial, and it has a certain behavior that it displays when it's talking with us, but it is being fine tuned. So the last fine tuning they said was Jan 2022. And so those of you, if you're working with OpenAI and are involved in ChatGPT, please fine tune it, because it's not giving me any open source models out there, and there are tons of open source model. And it makes me wonder, why is it belongs to OpenAI, and OpenAI does not want open source models, and it's not giving me open source models. So it's not nice, right? So you might want to fix it, because we want it to give us everything that it knows and keep talking to us, because we do like talking to it. Okay, so the good thing is ChatGPT did inspire a whole generation of people to learn AI, and a whole it has taken the whole concept of generative AI and context aware chatbots to a whole different level. So I appreciate that, and I want it to be alive and well. And so I hope it gets fine tuned to give us more accurate answers. So, so what I was using, that is called gpt.h2o.ai, H2O like water. And that's it. With that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you, everybody who hung around with me. And thank you, Adil, for your questions, comments. And I see you said something about you want to be part of my mission. My mission is to educate people, not feel intimidated by AI and exponential technologies. AI, generative AI is the latest one. I focus a lot on AI and data. I like to demystify jargons, and my calling is to help my students. And I teach at multiple places. I do three things. One, I teach at multiple universities. I actually teach visiting groups in different companies, and I do very selective engagement with enterprise on AI strategy. And I operate in this gap between business and technology. So I'm not just here to give you, machine learning models and stuff, or to just give you high level strategy and walk away. So I'm kind of operating in the gap to bring you to build something to reality, test and learn, and drive customer impact and measure your revenues. And I do research on inclusion in AI, and I'm part of Global South in AI, which I co-founded with Susanna Raj, where we bring inclusion to language AI. So we bring all kinds of language models and researchers. And so we have a call for paper. The decision should be going out this weekend. And we go to Neuro IPS with our posters. It's a top AI conference that happens in New Orleans this year. And the third thing is I work on a community of women and girls in tech to create role models and inspiration. That I do that in the beginning of the year, an IoT day as an IoT day women event round the clock for 24 hours. So those are my three general legs. And to teach my students are brilliant, smart, and so I have to be on my feet. So I'm constantly learning, researching, hands-on, playing with tools, writing books, everything I do for them. So that's it. So and I talk to you here on on Fridays or Saturday in Asia already for you, or I have my students come together to organize this weekly WED as a global speaker series where I learn, ask questions. Sometimes I contribute, sometimes I ask questions, sometimes I come in and teach something. And that's my community that I've been building. And I share everything openly, so it's all on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and you can and on my several newsletters. So bit.ly Jamthe newsletter is my main newsletter, so you can follow me there. So Adil was asking, wants to be part of my mission. Adil, I would like to know, what is your mission? What are you working on, and can we help you? And with that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you, everybody. And I will see you at Weekly Wed next week. And we're going to talk about the landscape of models and how to get to building a chatbot with my book and knowledge that we have in the content that I've been building out with the community for years, at least 8 years. Okay. With that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you, everybody, and stay safe. And I will see you soon. Bye. Okay, how do I stop this? Stop.